What's up, everybody? And welcome back to the preseason, the prelude to Hate2Pylon. I am CJ Thompson alongside my co-host,
Jonathan Edwards, and we are here today doing our tight end portion of the preseason.
Yes, sir.
We got 3 segments today. Are you going to outline them, or you want me to?
You got it. Keep it going.
All right, so the first segment we got is we're going to debate the top tight ends in the league. First, the question is, who are they, and how many, and who are they? Then the second segment we got is Rising Star. We're each going to select a player that we think is going to break out this season, a rising star who's going to emerge a fantasy sleeper, perhaps. Next, our final segment on tight ends is going to be what could have been. So tight ends who kind of fell by the wayside, even though they had talent and should have been much bigger names than they are currently. With that said, Caesar, you want to go ahead and kick off this top tight end ranking discussion?
Yeah, I'll take it away. So to be quite honest with you, before we first started this segment, or just thinking about the segment, there's really 2 tight ends that are worth talking about who are the top tight ends in the league. But then all of a sudden, a seismic change has happened in the NFL landscape. A person did not re-sign with his team and moved down to Tampa Bay. And now he resurrected this man's career. He was out doing wrestling, winning championships at WrestleMania, and he's back. So now we have 3 tight ends who are in this category. And in no particular order, you got George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and now Rob Gronkowski, who are definitely 3 of the top, most physical tight ends. In every sense of the word. They all have the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. They can block some better than others, but they all around are game changers for their team. Honestly, it's like I'm not even going to try to make an argument for any other tight end in the league. These are the 3 top tight ends, hands down, period. And to someone else prove us wrong. George Kittle is just a beast, just passing, blocking, and deceptive speed with the ball in his hands. Travis Kelce is a pure pass-catching tight end who could possibly just line up as wide receiver. But there's great things for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you, of course, got Rob Gronkowski, catching passes, go all his career, touchdowns, spiking balls with a broken back, broken elbow, broken this, broken that, does not slow him down. Catching ball, blocking, very underrated for his blocking abilities. And now he's back this year to wreak havoc and chase another ring. Do you have any disagreements with this, Jonathan?
I think so. Gronk, in his prime, was the best tight end the league has ever seen, statistically and just from a physical domination standpoint. He's always suffered with injuries, been banged up, retired for a year. Now he's back. I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. I don't think he's going to be as big as he used to be, which might benefit him because Gronk. The amazing thing about Gronk was that he was so good despite the fact that he seemed to move like he was in molasses. Like he just looks like he moves slowly, like he's in quicksand. And it's not to knock him. He's incredible. I can't imagine what he would look like if he moved faster. But that's kind of what makes George Kittle exceptional, is the fact that he is like a freak athlete at the tight end position. I think he ran a 4.51 40. So super fast, super big, super strong. They're all great route runners. Travis Kelce's probably the best in that area, but they all bring a little something different to the table. They can all block. Like, they might be the three best blocking, non-blocking only tight ends in the league. So, I mean, yeah, you can split them out. You can line up in line. They can do it all. They can all make plays downfield, make people miss, run people over, make stuff happen after the catch. I don't know who you want to put one or two, Kittle or Kelsey. It's tough for me. I'm gonna go with Kittle probably because he led me to a fantasy championship 2 years ago, so I got a soft spot for him. So I'm gonna go Kelsey 2 and then Gronk 3. But anything could happen this season. But those are going to be the top 3 fantasy tight ends in my opinion. I'm not sure of the order. That's my expected order. But like I said, anything could happen. CJ, what do you have to say about that?
Honestly, I'm just going to agree with you and nod and smile because that's the exact 3 that I have as well. Greg Kittle, I just has that more of an edge of just being. I think the way he blocks, the way he dominates in the run game, I think gives him that edge for me because he does it with flair, he does it with style. He smiles in your face while he does it. Even if he gets hit, gets a lick back, he's coming back, and then he's gonna catch a ball. He's gonna do a tight end screen and then run it down to the house. Deceptively quick, very powerful athlete. Travis Kelce, was definitely known as the best one of the better route runners as a tight end, pure catcher. Like, he could do a lot. He could do it, all of it. So hold on. So, oh my,
Good.
dude, I think my audio was like all the way. Cause I was looking at my thing and I couldn't see nothing. Now I can. I just adjusted. All right. Let's start from
the top.
Yeah. Just from the offensive, just the tight ends.
I got you.
Because I think now my audio is good. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the preseason. This is the prelude to Hate2Pylon. And my name is CJ with my co-host.
Today, talking some tight end.
Yes, sir. You want to run down what we're talking to, what our 3 subjects are for today?
Yes, sir. The first subject we got is top tight ends in the league. Top 2 comes to mind, but we bring up that there's a third very deserving member. The second segment is going to be our rising star, somebody we think is going to break out this season. Potential fantasy sleeper for you. And third and final segment is what could have been. We're going to look back at some of the more talented tight ends of the last couple of years who, for whatever reason, don't have the name recognition that they should have right now, or the respect on their name that they should have. But we're going to start things off with the top tight ends in the league. The big 2, everybody knows. George Kittle, Travis Kelce. You can rank them however way you want to. Those are the top 2. Sorry, Zach Ertz, you're not in their league.
No.
The third, very deserving person, returning this year after a year off, Rob Gronkowski, who not even when healthy, just in his physical peak, 28 years old. He's always been banged up, so not even fully healthy, but just healthy enough to play. The most dominant tight end the league has ever seen. Question is how dominant he's going to be this year after being out for a year. Injuries taking a toll on him. He lost a good bit of weight. Now he's trying to put it back on. Is he going to be the same player? Is that weight he lost, has he gained it all back? So is he going to be as physically dominant? Perhaps if he hasn't gained it all back, is he going to be less susceptible to injury since he's not carrying around as much muscle mass on him? CJ, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of factors for Rob Gronkowski coming back this season. And see if he can return to dominance. See if he can, leave and act like he's never lost a step, kind of like MJ. MJ kind of step. Anyways, by far, Greg Kittle is the number.
Well, the second time, not the first.
Greg Kittle, hands down, has to be the top tight end in the league right now, and he gets the edge because of the fact that how dominant he is in the run game. Travis Kelce and Rob Gronkowski are very good in the run game, which makes them elite tight ends. But the way that Greg Kittle dominates and the way he blocks and the way he intimidates people, he's not afraid to back down whatsoever. And he does it with flair, a little pizzazz to it, which gives him like that edge. He gives it a little bit more swag. He has more swag the way he does it. Plus, he's deceptively fast. He can take a tight end screen or take it to the house anytime. Travis Kelce is a phenomenal talent. You want to have the ball like red zone threat all the time. Third down threat. Where's Travis Kelce? He is a prolific target. He is a number one target on any. He just happens to be on the team that's loaded. Absolutely, Travis Kelce was the guy. Alex Smith before Pat Mahomes was there to get a lot of the looks. And he was the guy who was, very constant, getting 100 catches or, a high catch number each year, putting up wide receiver-like numbers, which is, for a while, was very unheard of for a tight end. Well, I won't say unheard of, but, he's just doing it different. His body type is way different than other tight ends who did it today, such as Tony Gonzalez, who was kind of like one of the first people, kind of like that basketball body. Antonio Gates, taller, leaner guys playing tight end position. But then Rob Gronkowski, this freak athlete out of Arizona who just took the league by storm with his spiking, his partying, his dancing, his hip gyrations. He was that elite tight end that New England needed when they tried to run multiple tight end sets. Unfortunately, the other tight end did not work out as great as Rob Gronkowski, but it did have promise at one time before, things popped off. And so
in a big way.
In a huge way. But Rob Gronkowski is a guy who you wouldn't expect to be great hands, but very soft hands, very reliable in the end zone, big red zone target, third down guy for sure. I mean, when you're not looking at Julian Edelman, of course, to run that quick slant or out route. But Gronk he's a big comfort blanket or security blanket to have. And now that he's back with Tom Brady, I think Tom Brady's going to dominate or at least put up decent numbers this year in the new Tampa Bay offense. And there's no other tight ends after that right now that's even close to this level. But hopefully with the resurgence of Rob, maybe we get some other people coming to the fold. I actually just thought of some couple of names that might be possible, but we'll save that for later on. So the next topic. Anything else? Any closing statements for the first segment?
No, I think you covered all the bases. They're all really good. They actually all really have like really fun personalities off the field. Easy to easy to root for. They're just all entertaining guys on and off the field. like you said, they're all dual threats. They can hand down on the line, run block, split out wide. They can make it happen. Down the field, catch a short pass, make some people miss, run them over, make it happen after the catch. I think they're all a little bit different. I would say Kittle's the most athletic. Kelsey's like the smoothest mover right now. Like flexibility, just the way he's able to move is just smooth.
Yeah.
Like, can't really describe it. You have to watch it. He moves like a receiver, which he shouldn't be able to do for somebody that size. And Gronk's just the biggest target. But they're all really good. They all win in similar but different ways. And I could see any one of them leading tight ends and fantasy points this season. But some other people who could potentially challenge for that are going to pop up here in our second segment, which is our Rising Stars segment. So, CJ, would you like to lead us off with your rising star at tight end for the upcoming season?
Yes, that was a great segue, my friend. And the stock that I see rising very big this season. See, this is very difficult for me because I do have two guys that I'm considering. Even the fact, I think I'm going to stay put with the first person I was thinking of because it's the second person I thought of recently signed a new massive contract with the team, which I don't see is going to pay big dividends, especially with the uncertainty in that offense. But the tight end that I think will have the biggest stock that will be rising this upcoming year will be Noah Fant, second-year tight end out of Iowa, which is the same alma mater as Greg Kittle. When he had three, Noah Fant, T.J. Hawkinson, whatever his last name is, and Greg Kittle all in the same offense at one time, which is three athletic freaks at tight end. Noah Fant ran at 4.4, 40. He's the more athletic, faster,
something like
deep
that
threat tight end. I think with Drew Lock taking over at quarterback this season for a full healthy season, I think they have Cortland Sutton, and then they also did they get Jerry Jeudy? Did they got?
Yes, they did.
Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton with Noah Fant down the seam. That is insane. Three guys who have tremendous speed. He showed some flashes, but wasn't consistent. I think he had some nagging injuries last year. But I'll expect for him to really to really show out, because I think the Broncos offense can do some things. They can make some noise, especially with the two-headed rushing attack with Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. I think he is primed to get a lot of over the middle tight end targets, red zone targets, and I think the offense can be very explosive. Mind you, this. The Broncos are in a very tough. They play the Chiefs twice a year. That's already 2 L's back to. But they can be competitive in Mile High because they always have the biggest home field advantage in the country, in the NFL. They play against the Oakland Raiders with their new, Death Star looking like stadium, which looks phenomenal. You never know how they're going to play with a new team, new city. Las Vegas, players might just lose themselves in all the sand that surrounds that city. And then he also got the San Diego Chargers, who honestly flip-flop a year. They could be good, they could be bad. They're really a flip of the coin. They can be good or bad each year. They have the talent on the team for a couple more years before that. I can see that team either really falling apart or really extending. You never truly know what the San Diego Chargers are going to get that year, especially with the question marks at the acquisition, but they have the possibility. If Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor can come on, they could truly be a really sleeper team this year. But we're back to tight ends. Noah Fant, I think, has a big opportunity this year to thrive in this offense, especially with the weapons around him. I think Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton will definitely bring a lot of attention where he can get a lot of good targets, third down and in the red zone for him to be very successful. Tell me, who's rising over there for you, John?
Noah Fant, he was one of two tight ends I was thinking about. I'm going to go with his former college teammate, T.J. Hawkinson of the Detroit Lions. Last year, he started off incredibly hot. His first game, he just went off.
Yes.
After that, he kind of tailed off. Then he got hurt, missed a good portion of the season. I don't remember if he came back or not, but if he did come back, Matt Stafford was not the quarterback. The quarterbacks they did have were garbage. This year, I think with Matt Stafford back, Kenny Golladay taking the big step forward he did last year.
Yeah,
Marvin Jones still there. Two-headed running back there with Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift. I think T.J. Hawkinson is going to step forward in the second season and kind of run the middle of that field. Kenny Golladay works the outside. Marvin Jones, watch his highlights. All this man does is make ridiculous catches down the sideline. So you got Golladay and Marvin Jones working the sidelines. That leaves the entire middle of the field for T.J. Hawkinson. And I think he's been working out with George Kittle, another former Iowa tight end, this offseason. So his footwork should be a little bit better. Maybe he's learned how to increase his speed some to be like George Kittle. I just think he's lined up for a big season. And so is his our former teammate, Noah Fant, Iowa tight end.
He's Iowa boy.
George Kittle, maybe the best tight end. George Kittle, maybe the best tight end in the league right now. Iowa is a tight end U. Who knows? The school that was tight end university for a while, TEU, Miami.
Yeah.
With players such as Greg Olsen. Well, recent players with Greg Olsen. And my pick for the what could have happened, or what could have been, portion of our segment, Jimothy Graham.
Ooh. 2 for 2 with these.
A lot of people don't remember when Jimmy was with the Saints. He was an absolute problem. There was a legitimate conversation about who's better, him or Gronk. And as we've established, Gronk was the answer, but the fact that there was a discussion about it at one point just points to how dominant Jimmy Graham was in New Orleans with Drew Brees in that offense. He suffered some injuries. He went to Seattle and was still kind of productive for, I think, 2 or 3 seasons. But you could tell he wasn't the same. Couldn't really move anymore. Then he went to Green Bay, and the guy is basically a log with limbs. Like, he just doesn't look like he can move. Doesn't look like he can bend. Doesn't look like he can rotate. It looks like it hurts him to be on the field. And I just think back to watching him tear apart the NFC South for years as a Carolina Panthers fan, watching him torch us. One of my favorite memories of him is when he got absolutely smacked by Thomas Davis. Just had the wood laid on him. And it's hits like those that contributed to his injuries and didn't really cut short, but maybe robbed us of what could have been a career as nearly as great as Rob Gronkowski's. The guy was just a machine when he was down there. I think he had led the league in touchdowns one year, was having 1,000-yard seasons, double-digit touchdowns, just an absolute monster. And yeah, I think it's sad to see a promising career like that derailed in the way that it was. But football's a violent game, and it happens more often than we would like to admit. As CJ can attest, because CJ, you have a tight end in mind who had similar issues. Would you care to share who this tight end is with the rest of the class?
What could have been? And I am staying in the state of Florida. because talent the Washington football team drafted in the third round, thinking this is just going to be a project. You keep putting him on the field, and he just keeps surprising us. Well, big catch after big catch, and then the anthem and the slogan that kept being chanted was "Feed Reed, Feed Reed," and I'm talking about Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed was one of the most prolific, most exciting talents as a tight end. He had feet that were smooth, silky, decent getaway speed, but great hands. He was training with Randy Moss in the offseason. His hands kept getting better and better, but the one thing that was not getting better each offseason was the amount of hits and damage he got to his head region, and the concussions kept piling up and piling up, unfortunately. And head injuries are just such a shame that happens in the game. And it is unfortunately, is one of the prices that is being paid when you play a collision sport such as football. And someone who was so talented, sure-handed, like could have easily be in the top 3 of tight ends would have been Jordan Reed. But the fact that his injuries just couldn't save him, he just bad hits. He constantly just really derailed his season. He got released by the Redskins this year and was trying to play football, but no team has picked him up as of now. But this is going to sound bad, but this is really looking out for the best of him. I really don't want any team to pick up Jordan. I think for his sake, for his future, for his family, I think he should just hang it up. With the 6 documented concussions that he had, and knowing how many undocumented concussions he had, I don't feel safe with putting him out. But his talent is tremendous. He is the second tight end from Florida that what could have been if things could happen. But this is way different from the other Florida tight end. But Jordan Reed was a freak, a physical freak. And, but the thing is, he was a project. People didn't, when Washington drafted him, he was a guy who was going to be, or we're just going to develop him and have him come in a couple years. But then all of a sudden, he just starts coming on. He starts playing big minutes for us and making big catches for us. And then, of course, you have to keep him in the game if he's showing you that he's profitable. And Jordan Reed is definitely one of the saddest stories, kind of in Washington's history. Kind of same thing with Sean Taylor. What could have been, if his life wasn't tragically ended. And it's I'm definitely going way off basis, but just keeping on the theme of what could have been, just tremendous talents that just, we wanted to see go to its fullest potential due to outer forces outside of control, which is very unfortunate. Also, on a lighter note, what could have been if Austin would have stayed in the Atlanta Falcons offense with a competent quarterback such as Matt Ryan, who could have kept his stats up. See, Austin Hooper was the tight end I was going to put my rising star. But I chose not to due to the fact that he is playing with the Browns offense, which is very uncertain this season. I need to see results. I need to see what Kevin Stephani is going to be doing with this offense. I need to see what Baker Mayfield, how is he going to progress? Is he really shutting up and just going to play football? Or is he just shutting up now so he can get the heat off his back so he can be able to have a good enough year to get him a second contract? That is what's very pivotal. And maybe in a year or so, we'll be talking about the same thing with Baker Mayfield. What could have been? What the hell happened to Baker Mayfield? But that's for the preseason for next year or the offseason. We'll see.
I don't think I have anything to add. That was very impassioned. Yeah. Jordan Reed, sad. Head injuries especially are more sad and more concerning for a player. Jimmy Graham has had his career derailed by injuries, but because he hasn't suffered as many concussions, I think his life down the road will still be better than Jordan Reed's would if he continues playing. because concussions can mess you up so bad.
With
the possibility of CTE. Possibility of CTE, brain damage, and just you hate to see it. You really do. Two very sad stories. Two sad endings to once promising careers. And yeah, it's hate to see it, man.
You definitely hate to see it. Just like you hate to see that this episode is coming to an end. This has definitely been one of a really good talk, definitely for the tight ends. Tight end is definitely one of those positions where it can be kind of like the running back position where you can kind of get a lot of tight ends to kind of fill in spots, especially, just blocking tight ends, or you have a specific tight end for just running, just for receiving. But we know that there's really only 3 elites right now, and it's kind of just we are hoping to see some more tight ends emerge this next year, see if Austin Hooper can do something. Vernon Davis was also a name that was not mentioned, but he's definitely one tight end who was doing it for a really long time that kind of got under the radar. He got injured, a concussion, unfortunately, which forced him to retire. You got Jason Witten, Greg Olsen, a lot of good tight ends that are guys who are important for their team. Not Brett Selleck. What's the other one for the Trash Eagles?
Zach Ertz.
Was another.
Well, they got 2. They got Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah,
who's the young gun.
You got Hunter Henry as well from San Diego.
Yeah, and
good. Then of course you got Chicago, who has like 10 tight ends under contract. See if they'll even use 3 of them. But there's
Evan Ingram in New York.
Evan Ingram, yes, he is very talented. Well,
OJ Howard, will he finally break out playing in 2 tight end sets opposite Gronk? Who knows?
There was talks about him possibly asking for a trade, same as Njoku.
David Njoku.
Yeah, from the
Browns.
So there is a lot of talent out there, but at the same time, there hasn't been a lot of guys since Jason Witten and Greg Olsen to constantly do it and do it at a high level for their team. Besides the elite mentioned
these 3.
But this is a great episode, great talk. I'm glad you guys joined us along for this ride. Preseason, keep chugging along. We're getting ready for more sports. Hopefully, we get blessed with some sports. Hey, you might see us as some MLS soccer fans. Soccer is one of the sports that is starting to get back up and started. We might even do some question mark.
Yeah. Might catch in the bubble in Orlando. Who knows?
You never know.
Wear a mask. Be polite. Be courteous. Do your part in eliminating the threat of the virus so we can get sports.
Let's get sports.
Please and thank you.
Sports is very important to me. I'm pretty sure that sports is very important to you. And you all are very important to us, me and Jonathan. We are so glad that you guys have
yes, indeed.
Stick around with us to watch the preseason and made it to this far in the video. We're doing this because we love sports, and we're 2 guys who generally just want to talk about sports, and we can talk about it all the time, but we might as well just have a conversation with you guys, and we want you guys to be involved. We'll, as things start going on, we'll do a live Q&A for you guys as we start doing stuff on Twitch, and as we start doing stuff on YouTube, and we'll do some live streams where we kind of can respond to a lot of people and stuff like that. As we start to grow, we want to keep getting better and get better for you guys. We want to be Super Bowl caliber sports analysts, or we're sports guys, not even analysts. That's so professional. Like, we just guys love sports, and we just want to talk about it and have a good time. And we just hope you guys enjoy it as well. So, but without further ado, this has again, one more time, this has been the preseason, the prelude to Hate2Pylon. I am CJ Thompson alongside my co-host,
Jonathan Edwards, and we thank you and appreciate you for listening and hope to see you again next time.